Welcome to another episode of the Profitable Home Services Podcast. I'm Diane Gardner, your host, and this is the podcast where we want to help you become wildly profitable. I also want you to become proud to be profitable because that is a somewhat unique group of home service business owners out there. Not all of them are profitable. In fact, most of them are not, which is a really sad story. So, our episode today is Every Dollar Needs a Job. Stop and think about that a minute. What kind of jobs are you giving your dollars? Have you ever looked at your bank account after a really busy month and thought, we were slammed? The trucks or your vans, whatever they were running, your team was running, they were working overtime. It was just everybody just going as hard as they could possibly go. And when you come out the other side of that period, oftentimes you look at your bank balance and you're almost shocked. It's like, what happened? Where did that money go? You might have been expecting to see thousands or tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars at the end of this busy time period, but it's not there. And you're racking your brain, what happened? Where did it go? Why am I not seeing it? We know it's not a lack of sales. You were busy. You were hustling. So what could be causing that to happen in your business? And this is where I'd like to introduce the idea to you that every dollar in your business needs to have a specific job. And this job needs to be identified before it ever gets spent. So this is a planning opportunity. And it's no different than if, let's say, you've got a team of 5 or 10 or 15 team members. If every single team member did the same job, you'd have chaos. You'd have too many cooks in the kitchen. Nothing would get done. But because you don't do that, you spread your team out. Some of them are in the office handling your bookkeeping. Some of them are answering your phones and keeping that side going. Some of them are out there selling jobs for you. Others are actually doing the jobs. They're installing, they're doing whatever it might be. And it's a well oiled machine that all these different positions know what they're supposed to be doing. You're not going to pull your technician into the office to process payroll. That's just not going to happen. Well, same thing with your dollars. We don't want your dollars all sitting in there one big lump, which is how most businesses in America are run. They have one bank account and everything gets paid out of one bank account. There it is, one job for everything. It is chaos and it limits the accountability for what is going on. Decisions get made that maybe wouldn't get made if the money had jobs. Sometimes it's shiny objects, sometimes it's spur of the moment, quote, needs, and so there may be more of a want than a need, and cash starts disappearing. And we don't want that happening. We want to be a company who is in control of our finances. We know what's coming in, we know what's going out, we know why it's going out. And oftentimes, what causes this when we don't have specific jobs for our money, I start seeing things like payroll keeps increasing. Well, maybe you didn't hire anybody else. Payroll's increasing because of overtime. Well, what's drill back into what's causing the overtime? Is it because we've booked ourselves too tight? Or is it because we're not getting things done quickly enough? Is it because we're having to go back out and fix it later? Is it because we're sitting there waiting on parts or materials? Quick story at my own house, we're having a company come put up a garage for us. We built a new house about a year and a half ago, and we're finally getting our garage added to it. And I watched the workers, I had 3 people on my property, watched them sit out there for 2.5 hours waiting because they needed a tool that somebody forgot to put on the truck. 3 workers, 2.5 hours. How many times over the course of the year do you think that happened for that owner? And what was the cost on that? He wasn't watching his dollars, wasn't giving them specific jobs to do. Therefore, this particular owner has a big profit leak, and that gets very expensive. And oftentimes, overtime actually rewards your Maybe we'll call them your B and C employees, your A's, your star employees. They're probably not the ones racking up unnecessary overtime. It's your B and C employees who slow down and they figured it out. If I can take a little bit longer to get the job done, I can get overtime and they actually are getting rewarded for not doing the best job that they could be doing for you. So those types of things start increasing the cash needs in your business. Other times it's something as simple as that shiny object syndrome. You are out and you see a new tool or a new piece of equipment and you just got to have it. And I've seen guys plunk down big chunks of money and then a week or two later, they can't pay something big like maybe their income tax or a large vendor bill or those types of things because they made a quick decision and they didn't have, it was an emotional decision. They didn't have any way of gauging it. Do we really need this? Should I sleep on it and come back and look at it in a day or two? It's also, I see a lot of stress in the cash flow side of home service businesses. It seems like when payroll's coming around, things get a little tense sometimes in the office, or it's time to do a vendor accounts payable run or something along those lines where we're paying out some big chunks for job materials and things get a little tense. Are we going to be able to cover everything? Heaven forbid if payroll and vendor payments land on the same week. Sometimes that's really tight. It can be tough. Or around renewing insurances, whether it's your liability insurance, your health insurance, whatever it might be, when it comes time to renew those things, that can make for some really tight cash flow weeks as well. Let alone the dreaded income tax, whether it's your estimated payments or at the time when you get your tax returns done and you're coming up into the April time period. Those kinds of things can put large stresses on a company and on their cash flow, especially when all of your money is in one bucket. It all has one job. Excuse me. I want to share a quick story with you. Um, about a home service business owner. He was just basically living payday to payday type of a business. And that's a really hard place to live. We're going to call him Robert. And we're going to say he has a roofing business here in northern Idaho where I'm located. Robert had been working really hard to grow his roofing business. He'd been diligently making contacts with different builders, homeowners, really trying to grow both sides of that business, the commercial side as well as the residential side. And he had grown his team. He had a team of about 5 people now. And things were starting to look like, hey, we might just have this figured out and we'll be doing just fine. But every time he felt like he was there, he'd finally arrived, something would happen. One time he was telling me a story about a large job that got canceled just a few days before it was supposed to start. Well, he had already allocated his team out there at that position for a couple weeks. Now, what was he going to do? He was scrambling madly to try to get other jobs rearranged to fill that time period, but knowing that that big job was going to plop back on his calendar at some point and mess up his scheduling when it happened the other direction. Another time, they felt like he was just starting to get ahead. Summertime, weather's good. And all of a sudden, as we get in North Idaho sometimes, here comes the rain. It rained and it rained and it rained and then it rained some more. It rained for about a week and a half, and he's like, "What is going on? I can't pull off a roof in the rain. I can't even re-roof in the rain. It's just pouring out there." And so that messed everything up. That really killed his cash flow because he was expecting to get these jobs done and get paid for them, and that didn't happen. And he didn't have any backup cash. He was living paycheck to paycheck, basically. And as these kinds of things kept happening to him, I was watching the stress in his life just get higher and higher and higher. And he's getting those little circles under his eyes and stuff because he's not sleeping well at night as he's worrying about all this stuff. The season here in northern Idaho can be fairly short. We can have a longer season depending on how soon winter hits and how quickly spring arrives. But there's some years that it can be very short season. And you got to make hay while you can do it because you don't know if you're going to get much if any work throughout the fall and winter months, depending on our weather. And fortunately, he came to see me, and we were able to put together a plan for him where we utilized some of the profit first principles and we really started digging and uncovering those profit leaks in his business and started helping him take control of his cash and giving those dollars in his business the appropriate jobs that they should have. And they weren't just all sitting in one big lump sum anymore, but they were actually allocated out. And now there was no more emotional decision making. He was able to go to his accounts and look and say, do I have enough money to pay it? If I do, great, we can get it. If not, we're going to just wait a little bit longer. He became very self disciplined. Now, it didn't happen overnight, it never does. It took some time period, but after a while, Robert was singing a completely different tune than he had been singing when we first met him and first started working with him. When you look at your bank balance and you're expecting it to be nice and big and fluffy, and it's not, you're wondering, what did I do wrong? How come I can't run a successful business? I can hear these negative self talks happening in your head. Well, you'd probably be surprised to even think about that profit could leak out of your business in probably 200 or 300 different places. I've been amazed as we've been running this podcast now for over 2.5 years, all the different profit leaks we've uncovered along the way. Some of them were things I never would have even thought of, and I thought I was pretty good at finding profit leaks for business owners. And this, as I'm thinking of all these different ways that profit can leak out of your business, it reminds me of the old country song that was 50 ways to leave your lover. Well, I always want to say there's probably at least 50 ways to lose your profit. And in a little bit, we'll play with that a little bit here and a little bit later in the podcast. So I want to say that there's at least 6 jobs that your money should be doing for you. So we're going to start out, we're going to go through each one of these 6 real quickly before we start into them. The first one is profit. Number 2 is owner's pay. Number 3 is taxes. Number 4 is operating expenses. Then we have number 5 is an emergency fund. And number 6 is funding future growth. So now we'll go through them nice and slowly for you. Going back to number 1, profit. Profit is the lifeblood of your business. Without profit, your business doesn't survive. It does not stay in business for 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years without profit. Profit allows you to hire a good team or even the best team. Profit allows you to drive vehicles that are reliable. You don't have to drive older junker type vehicles. You can drive newer vehicles because you have them on the road all the time. Profit allows you to do extra things for your team, maybe for your community, for your family. Without profit, you can't do any of that stuff. Profit allows you to be able to give back in some way. I know a lot of you volunteer at different types of organizations. Without profit, you can't do that. You have to do one more job. Profit allows you to live the lifestyle that you have been wanting to live. And profit is not something that should just be left over. You've been taught all of your business life that sales minus expenses equals revenue. And I want to tell you that no, that's not the right formula. The formula should be sales minus profit equals expenses. And what that means is when we take our profit first, we learn to run our business on what is left. It's like Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law says that whatever we have of something, we will use all of it. And so if we have all of our money in one pot, we will use all of it. But if we have money allocated out for these different jobs for your money, we will use what's sitting in the pot, which is generally the operating pot or our OPEX pot. And we make different decisions. We make better decisions because we have less money to work with, and we have to make it stretch. We have to make it work. And so when we plan our profit and we take our profit first, it is a life-changing event in your business. And it is so fun to watch a home service business owner who's been working the system with me. And about a year later, they look back and they look at how much money that they put away in their profit account and their tax account and some of these others accounts. And they just look at it and go, how in the world did I do that? And I still ran my business over here on the other pieces of it. It's a really humbling experience for me when we have those conversations and get to congratulate them on what they've accomplished. So we want to set aside our profit. When we do that, it creates a confidence in you. You now start taking ownership and you start taking control of your finances. And I know that's an uncomfortable position because you're really good at your trade. But generally speaking, no one taught you how to do the financial side of it. Very few of you had parents or somebody else who stepped into your life and taught you how to do the financial side. Well, here's a program where you can learn how to do that, and you can be quite proud of yourself. Okay, job number 2 is your owner's pay. How many times have I seen owners who have not taken a paycheck in a year or two? It seems like as I'm talking to prospects, I hear that story over and over and over again. Sometimes I see owners are taking a regular paycheck, but it's a fraction of what they would pay somebody else to come in and do that same job. They couldn't hire somebody to do what they do for that amount that they're paying themselves. And that breaks my heart because not only is it affecting you as the business owner, but it's affecting your home, your family. In a roundabout way, it affects your team members. It affects everybody because of the stress that goes around never having enough, never being able to quite pay what you need to pay. And that's a heartbreaking place when I see owners running that way, and especially for those that have been running that way for a few years. The business should be able to support you, your family, your team, your vendors, and still have profit left over. And if we're not able to do that, then we need to do some serious work on your business. And I want to challenge you to pay yourself consistently. Now, some of you I know have got that one nailed. That's okay because we all have our little spot where we need to work on this. Kudos and congratulations on those of you who are paying yourself on a regular basis. That makes me proud when I hear that. But unfortunately, most of the people I talk to are in the other camp, that they're not doing it regularly, or they're not paying themselves enough, or they're not paying themselves at all. And we really want to make sure that you get paid. You are your number one asset. Without you, that business does not survive. So we want to make sure that you're getting paid and you're getting paid right up front, in addition to being able to guard that money that is your profit. The next account is taxes. We all have to pay taxes here in the U.S. Doesn't matter who we are, we're not special. And so we want to make sure that you've got the money set aside so you can pay your taxes without it being a major stressing activity. I've seen too many heart attacks and things like that over the years with clients that I've worked with over just the thought of having to come up with 30 or 40 or $50,000 to be able to pay their income tax. Well, that's a scary thought. But we can plan our way so that that money's sitting there when you need it and you can make your estimated payments on time. We don't want you being in trouble with the IRS. I don't want you being on their, what I call their Christmas card list. We don't want you living that life. We want you in control of your business, in control of your finances. Taxes is one way that we can guard the money that should be put aside to pay your income taxes and give you the peace of mind, give your spouse the peace of mind that the money is sitting there and you're not going to go hungry just because you have to pay your taxes. Number 4 is operating expenses. Operating expenses can disappear so quickly. It's a here today and gone tomorrow. And I see it fly out the door in trucks and vans and fuel and repairs and that type of things. Oftentimes I see employees of and your team taking advantage of you, the owner, especially when they're allowed to take those trucks and vans home with them. We see them filling up their gas tanks for their friends on your card. We see these profit leaks happen on a regular basis, unfortunately. And that makes me sad because they're just cheating you and cheating the business when that happens. So we want to have a really good handle on our operating expenses. Other times it shows up in job materials being over or under ordered. If we don't order them correctly the first time, then we have profits that leak out because we have to go buy just a little bit more. Back to my new garage. They were one um, they were a couple boards short for something that they were doing. And so they had to go to town and buy like two boards and bring them back up to my house. That was pretty funny because where I live, I'm out in the country. So it's a half an hour into town and a half an hour back, plus whatever time you're there. So it costs them a lot because they miscalculated the number of boards. I don't remember what size they were, but boards that they were using. They were one rafter short when they were putting up the rafters. Little things like that. They had to wait a couple days for that new rafter to show up. That delayed this job. So many profit leaks as I've been watching them build this garage. It's like, and I've not met the owner yet of this crew. I'd love to sit him down and have a conversation with all the profit leaks I saw just a little bit that I've been around as we're building this garage. Other times I see things like software sucking up expenses, subscriptions that maybe you've had for a few years that you're not utilizing. And that's money just going dripping out of your account all the time. Or maybe it's marketing programs. I had one guy say, oh, well, it's just kind of like spaghetti. I throw it up against the wall and see what sticks. And I thought, oh, what a terrible marketing plan. He was spending money on everything under the sun and he had no idea what was working or what wasn't. We want to really track those marketing dollars. Throw money on the ones that are working and cut the money off of the ones that don't. Because it's a way to just absorb your operating piece of your pie. So we want to really, again, we want to be paying attention to these jobs that we're giving our money. Number 5 is an emergency fund. Oh, most businesses I work with do not have an emergency fund. I'm thinking, how can you operate without one? Every business needs a reserve for the unexpected because it's not a matter of if there's going to be something unexpected in your business. It's a matter of when. When is something going to happen? We've seen natural disasters. We've seen floods and fires and earthquakes and storms and hail. All these types of things take a toll on a business and on their potentially their assets, their vehicles or things like that. I've seen major truck breakdowns where it worked today and it doesn't work tomorrow. And now you're scrambling to try to come up with another truck or van or something. I've seen loss of a key employee. All of a sudden, somebody doesn't come back to work, whether they just leave or maybe it's a medical condition or something. And now your business is sputtering because that person held the keys to your kingdom. I've seen slow seasons or a temporary drop in sales that maybe was triggered to the economy or government regulations or something along those lines. So it's not a matter of if something's going to happen, it's a matter of when they do happen. So an emergency fund can create some stability and it can help be that bridge between what you're able to bring in and what you really need to have coming in. And it can keep your business from going into panic mode or potentially even keep you from going out of business. It may allow you to be able to hang on to your employees and find something for them to do during this time period. Otherwise, you end up laying them off or actually letting them go and you may not get them back, especially if they're really good employees. So emergency funds are invaluable. And so we want to protect some money so that it can go into this emergency fund to help save your business when these types of things happen. Number 6 is future growth. As your business is growing, you may need a bigger facility at some point, whether you're renting or buying. You may need something bigger to house what you're growing into. You may need to hire another position within your company or adding a team member to your existing team structure. You may need to spend some more on marketing. A lot of times we spend money up front on marketing before it pays off. You may need to invest in increased systems and technology and that type of stuff. Future growth can come in a lot of different ways, but it's important for the lifetime of your business to have this money sitting out there and have it available so that your business is not being held back because of finances. So let me just quickly do a recap on those 6 jobs for your money. The first one was job number 1 was profit. Job number 2 is owner's pay. Job number 3 is taxes. Job number 4 was operating expenses. Job number 5 is your emergency fund. And job number 6 is future growth. Now, some of the home service businesses working with me, we may come up with a couple other jobs that need to be happening in their particular businesses because we customize this for every home service business. So I'd like to encourage you to think about how we can start setting up these different jobs in your own business. How can you get them started? And what would you like to have for the jobs in your business? Start small. Don't make it complicated or complex. Start small. Start thinking about maybe 1 or 2 of these areas. And don't worry about perfection at the beginning. Just worry about getting it started. If we're telling our money where to go, then we're in control of our finances and we're not letting it just control us. And that's a great place to be in as you're running a business. Here again, if you have questions, you'd love to talk to somebody. I'm a Profit First certified professional up at the mastery level, which is the top of the Profit First pyramid. I'd love to have a conversation with you and show you how Profit First can transform your business and your life. I love these kinds of calls. They're the highlight of my day when we can show a home service business owner how to take the stress out of the cash side of their business. I know that most of the time you guys are really good at what you do for your trade and you excel in that reaching out to your community, serving your communities, that type of thing. But oftentimes you struggle with this side of your business, with the numbers, with the finances, with that piece of it. That's an area that you struggle with. And sometimes as I'm talking to different ones, I sense a sense of maybe embarrassment because the community sees you as this successful business. But inside, you're wondering, how am I going to make payroll next week? How am I going to replace such and such? Maybe it's a piece of equipment or a truck or something. How am I going to do that? And those thoughts swirl around in your head, and you take them home at night to your family, and you're not present with your spouse or your kids or whoever might be in your immediate family home. And we want to change that. We want to change lives by giving you the tools to be in control of your money and giving it these jobs that it needs to have. So, which one of these 6 jobs do you want to focus on first? Is it your profit? Is it your taxes? Is it maybe an emergency fund or future growth? Which one is really speaking to you as we're talking about this? If every dollar in your business had a job, what would your business look like 6 months or even a year from now? Now, a few minutes ago, I mentioned that playing around with the idea of 50 ways to lose your profit. Well, I was playing out with ChatGPT, and here's what we came up with for you. So just bear with me for a couple minutes here. No, I'm not going to sing it to you. I'm just going to go through some of the words that we came up with. So 50 ways to lose your profit. You think you're busy, jobs are rolling in, phones keep ringing, but you're not winning. Money's moving, but it slips right through your hands. You built a business, but it's sinking in the sand. You say, I'll fix it later once things slow down, but later never comes when you're running this town. There must be 50 ways to lose your profit, and you've been using quite a few. Here's our chorus. Just price it too low, Joe. Let your margins go, Flo. Don't track your cash, Ash. You'll lose it. Ignore your books, Brooke. Hire without looks hooks. There are 50 ways to lose your profit. Don't know your numbers? Don't review your books. Trust your gut instead of taking real looks. Discount your services just to make the sale. Then wonder later why your profits fail. Keep saying yes to customers who drain your time. Let callbacks eat your day like it's no crime. There must be 50 ways to lose your profit, and you're checking every box. Here's our chorus again. Skip weekly pay, Ray. Let AR drift away, Kay. Don't follow up, Chuck. You'll lose it. Overstaff your crew, Lou. Let productivity slide, Clyde. There are 50 ways to lose your profit. Now, I just thought that was kind of fun playing around with that a little bit with some AI, thinking, I know for a fact there's probably 200 or 300 ways to lose your profit, but I just gave you something fun there. So I would love to invite any of you who are thinking, Diane, I'd like to learn out more about this. I'm wondering how I could give jobs to every dollar in my business. I'd love to have you go to the links below in our show notes and click the link to schedule a profit impact call. On that call, we can talk about ways that profits leaking out of your company and help you get some clarity on what some of the jobs should be for your money. I love these kind of calls. They are the highlight of my day where I get to talk to home service business owners and just help that light bulb to come on a little bit. Help them get so they're back in control of their business and of their cash. Also, if you're interested, we do have a guide down in our show notes link that's called the 15 Profit Leaks Guide. And that is 15 of the most common profit leaks that we see all the time. So click on that link, download the guide, book a profit impact call. We'd love to talk to you. And generally speaking, in about 45 minutes or so, we can find 45, 50,000. Sometimes it's as high as a couple $100,000 in profit leaking out of your business. And that's eye opener when we sit down and say, all we have to do is make these changes and put that money back in your bank account. Now your bank account starts looking like what you would expect it to look like at the end of a busy season. Well, I hope that you have found value in this episode. Because it's like I'm always saying, it's not how much money you make in your top line revenue, it's how much of that you're able to keep, how well you're protecting the cash in your business. So please like and subscribe, leave some reviews. We love to hear back from you. Also, catch us over on YouTube. We're trying to build our channel over there as well. Like and subscribe over there too, if you would. Help us get the word out to other home service business owners. And we thank you for your loyalty for listening to our various episodes. We've got a lot of new listeners out there, and I love that our listenership is growing so quickly. So thank you for that. Again, if you would like help identifying your profit leaks in your business, reach out to me. We'd love to talk. We'd love to help you. And with that, we're going to say, take your profits first. Be proud to be profitable. That's a great place to be in business. And until the next time, I'm Diane Gardner. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.